All right, let's try this again. So we're going to go over this focus where we're going to practice with logs, see how this works out. So here this says expand. So when we say expand, we want to write this as more than one log. So we remember that all these things are being multiplied. And one of the laws that we knew from log was that if it were being multiplied, we could write this as log of the same base of each one of these things independently being multiplied together. Then we just need to finish cleaning this up. The only thing we have left here is we've got to deal with these powers, and that's actually the reason we learn log is it allows us to turn powers into multiplication. So our final answer for this should put those numbers in front as multiplications so that we only have one term inside each one of the log parentheses. And the only last thing you'd need to check is to make sure that this number in here, if it's ever a number that's by itself in here, can't be written as a power of 3 evenly, or no, I shouldn't say evenly, I should say as a whole number. So 3 to the first is 3, 3 squared is 9, none of that's going to work. So what that means is that this is our final answer, and we're done with that one. Same principle here. We're going to expand right as more logs. Really want to separate this into two problems. The division means that you can subtract. So we're going to write this thing as log 4 of everything in the numerator minus log 4 of everything in the denominator. Now what you need to be careful with here is that all of this stuff after this, when we start breaking this apart, all this stuff below it is going to need to be in its own set of brackets and be negative. It's all going to be minus. So I'm going to kind of use what we did in the last one, do this one a little bit faster. So this one's going to be log 4 of 16 plus 3 log 4 of z plus 8 log 4 of w. We're going to subtract everything after it. So we're going to do the same thing here. Log 4 of 5 plus 2 log 4x plus 4 of y. Check your number. Can you write 16 as a power of 4? We can. This is 4 squared. And what happens here is the log of 4, log base 4 of 4 squared, this turns into just the value of 4. I'm sorry, not the value of 4, but the value of 2. Let's try that again. Because essentially what's happening here is that this and this cancel each other, and we only get the exponent that's left over. That's not going to happen with anything else. So we're going to get 3 log 4 of z plus 8 log 4 of w. Well, you don't have to. You can. You can distribute this negative to everything. This is going to be minus log 4 of 5 minus 2 log 4 of x. And I didn't need to worry about this one because you can't write 5 as a power of 4 as an integer. Minus 4 log 4 of y. That right there, folks. That's what I'm looking for with one of those. It's a little bit more complex. It doesn't look like my box is going to fit around this very well. But we're going to do it anyways. So just be careful of those numbers. All right, other ones are right as a single log. Now you got to be cautious with this because we're going to make fractions with these minus signs. So anything that has this minus sign like this, that expression, once we simplify, it's going to end up in the denominator. Same thing is going to happen here. It doesn't matter what's before it, what's after it. It's always just going to end up in the denominator. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's rock this one out. Let's do A. So we're going to write this as one log. And we know we're going to get the numerator and the denominator. This is going to become a power here, as well as this, as well as that, on each one of those variables. The y variable is going to be in the denominator, because it has that minus. to its whole power. And then everything else that was positive ends up in the numerator. So that's x to the 7th w squared. And just make sure nothing cancels, which nothing does here. All right, so let's look at part B. Remember, this is going to be our denominator, and these things right here are all going to become powers. So we're going to need to simplify them a little bit. But we'll start with writing it as 1. So it's all log, and let's not draw the parentheses a little bit. So this is log, and this is going to end up in the bottom. This is y to the 1/3. Top is going to be w to the 6th, and x to the 1/2. Now, only thing you gotta take care of here is you're never going to see these written like that in this answer because those mean roots. So what we would see here is this log. It's going to have w to the 6th, and this, if you remember this, 1/2 is actually the square root of w to the 1st, which we just write as the root. I'm sorry, not w, but x. Make the eraser a little smaller, and we can take care of that. Fix that up. So when we do this, I'm sorry, this is x to the 1/2, which would put x to the 1, so we would only write this as the square root of x on the top. The bottom follows the same pattern. Remember, on the bottom, that's a 3rd root of y to the 1st, which we would just write as the 3rd root of y. This right here is going to be how you see that answer. This one's going to be done. Nothing cancels, nothing simplifies. We're all